welcome everyone to season 9, episode 32 of The Focus TV. We have Octavia Wyatt here, Cardell Dudley Jr., Raymond Lyons. I'm Wilson Tarpe Jr. And don't forget to head over to thefocustv.com so you can stay up to date with everything we have going on. The latest episodes of this show to the 24/7 live feed that plays on our Roku and Amazon Fire TV channel. That feed plays our most recent content along with latest news and interviews that can be found on thefocustv.com. We're going to get started with the Mystics. 10 p.m. start time last night, so Carter and I knocked out pregame. Found out that the Mystics did the thing that we were unsure that they could do. They've been struggling with the Valkyries. They avoided season series sweep by Golden State. They rallied to beat Golden State 90-82, and in the process, they snapped the Valkyries' 9-game win streak. Kiki Iriafen led the way with 23 points and 12 rebounds. Shakira Austin, huge night for her, too. 15 points and 15 boards. Sonia Citron added 17 points and 6 assists. Cardo and I talked pregame last night about the things Washington would need to change in order to get a W. And one of the things he mentioned was Kiki just getting back to being Kiki, and she did that in some of last night's win. But Ray, we want to start with you. Your thoughts on last night's game with Washington, rebounding from they lost to the Valkyries, a couple nights before last, 74-69 in a close game. And then bounce back last night with that 90-82 victory.
Yeah, man, they just got back to what they do when they win games. They dominated on the inside, dominated on the glass, and they shot the ball well. That's easier said than done against the Valkyries. We all know how miserable they make people's lives on the defensive end, but yeah, the Mystics, they just kind of had it going last night. And like you pointed out, it starts with, their main women, being the main women. Their big three came out and produced. And when they got it going the way they did last night, they got a chance against any team in the league. And with them being successful offensively, it just seems like the Mystics are a much calmer and confident team. Especially with Sonya going, and then Kiki when she's on one, it's just deflating. Like when she has big games, they're like super loud, and it rubs off, man. And and the team just kind of fed off the energy from their from their big three, and Michaela Onyenwere joined the party as well. She added 12 points. And they were aggressive and got to the free throw line and made their free throws. So yeah, man, they just had more things going than that. We always talk about checking boxes, and the only box that they didn't check, which is the one that that just rears its ugly head more often than that, is turnovers. They had 16 turnovers, but they still managed to to execute pretty well offensively, all things considered. And yeah, man, they put up 90 on the Valkyries. That was only the 4th time the Valkyrie gave up 90 points this whole season. And they're only giving up 75 on average. So, if you can get off on them, then yeah, you got a pretty decent chance. So yeah, man, it's a good, tough win against one of the best teams in the league, man. And hopefully they can just continue to build on this. And it was good seeing Sonya kind of get back to herself. She'd been struggling a little bit. So, yeah, it's good to see the lid come off the rim for her. And, with players like that, it only take one game, and then they back rolling again. So, yeah, man, it was just good to see them get one in the win column.
Cardell, going back to your keys to the game, how do you think that they did last night, looking back?
I mean, they did well, especially in the fourth quarter. I'm going to get to that in a second. But, beginning of the game, pregame, I was saying that you need all four to beat the team like the Valkyries. You need their 4 horses in the starting lineup to deliver. Just do what they do. I'm not saying they got to play out their mind, even though if they do, great. You know what I mean? But I'm just saying just do their job. Onyenwere, play defense, hit those threes. Sonya be Sonya. Kiki, walking double-double. Shakira pretty much a walking double-double right there too with her like 17 and 8. Just deliver and bring what you bring to the table. And you got a shot, because one thing the Valkyries don't do well is score the ball. And they rely on a lot of three-point shooting to make up for that and get to the free throw line. So if you defend the three, run them off the three-point line, and you don't foul, and you doing what you're doing on offense, you're in pretty good shape. Because no matter how good you are defensively, you still have to score the ball. You know, people think I emphasize defense the most, like first and foremost, because I'm just so defensive minded I ignore offense, and that's not the case. I believe in both ends of the floor, but I put emphasis on defense because obviously most players don't need motivation to shoot the ball and score the ball. They damn sure need that on the defensive end. So the defense end is more neglected. You can't win without it. So that needs emphasis. You need to be upon that emphasis so everybody on the team understand we got to deliver on that no matter how much you want to score. But you got to play both ends. And that's what the Mystics did, especially in that fourth quarter. So I gotta shout out Georgia. I think this is her best game as a pro. The way she controlled the game, 9 points, 8 assists, the 4 turnovers, a little high, but we could live with that. 3 or 5 shooting, 3 or 4 from deep, man. By far her best game. She showed up, and Redeemer's, I guess, the best defense in the league, man. You gotta give her credit. But again, Kiki waking back up 23 and 12. Onyenwere 12, 3 or 7 from deep. That's what they need. Plus 14 playing defense. The last game Gabby Williams got off. She only had 8 points in this game. Combination Onyenwere and Sonya at times and Cody. And, they did it by committee. Shakira 15 to 15. What more you got to say about that? She balling. Sonya 17 and 6 assists. Didn't shoot the ball particularly well. 1 shot off of 50%. She was 5 or 12. 1 more shot, she's 50%. They deliver it. They deliver, man. And in that fourth quarter, I think it's something that went over a lot of people's heads that I love what the coach did. Towards the end, but not quite the very end, he subbed Georgia for Cody. And that was just another bigger, more explosive body. Now, with a fatigued team, you got to worry about her going downhill and making something happen. And look, she only got 1 shot. She made that shot and one. She got 3 points in that quarter, but you still got to worry about that threat, and she can move laterally and defend. So now you have no one to pick on. And I feel like that really helped them sustain on defense, and that fed into the offense because how you play on one end of the court impacts the other. So, if you constantly turning the ball over on offense, missing timely shots and stuff, it's going to impact your defense. But the way they were scoring in the fourth quarter, they shot 68% as a team. You know what I mean? That fed right into their offense. And obviously, it's hard to sustain a great defense when you're always taking the ball out the net. And that's what the Valkyries were doing in the fourth quarter. And that's why the Mystics were able to pull away. And then on top of that, the Mystics, they just play bully balls. Sonya got downhill. Kiki. Sonya was 7 to 7 in the fourth alone from the free throw line. That just tell you, like, I'm putting my head down. We're going to make it happen. We're going to win this game. And they were 12 or 13 from the free throw line, which is huge for them because they're iffy at the line as a team. And then in that quarter, they only had 4 turnovers. They had 17 in the game, a little too high. But nonetheless, man, they found a way to pull it out. Meanwhile, defensively, they held the Valkyries to 42% from the field, 25% from deep, which is big because they rely on 3-point shooting to win. I think they 5th in the WNBA and 3-point shooting like about 35%, and they kept them off the line. They was only 4 for 6. And you know what I mean? So you got to give them credit. Now, Chen was the only one that kind of was able to figure out something with the Mystics and the score. But outside of that, they put the clamps on them, and they outscored them 36-24. Our rule about 40-point quarters. When you see it, whoever's on the receiving end, they're going to lose. And that's what happened with Golden State. So, kudos to the Mystics, man. Take this momentum. They got a big one tomorrow at home against the Aces. Don't give it back. Try to get the Aces up out of there who's been a weird team. They've been a weird team. Seem like they go lax at home, but on the road it's like they lock in. So the Mystics got to be careful. They got them at home. Don't give it back, man. Get that win. Go on to All-Star break, recover. Do what you need to do, and come out the second half and try to make this playoff push. Period.
All right, as always with Mystics Outlook, it's not going to be up on the screen for you guys, but player of the game.
Kiki.
Yeah, I'm about to go with Kiki as well. Way to rebound, 23 and 12. Hold on, man. That's tough, man. Shakira 15 and 15. That's tough. That's 15 and 15. That's tough.
We will also accept Kiki Austin, Shakira Iriafin.
That's tough.
Also acceptable responses.
Yeah, Shakira Iriafin. There you go. We go there.
It's also an acceptable answer. We'll follow it up with X Factor. I think I know where you guys are going with this one, but I'm anxious to hear.
You got to show Georgia some love, man. She showed up.
Yeah, for sure.
And you know we've been fair, but we've been hard on her because of her up and down play. You know we just keep it fair. We ain't trying to be just super negative on anybody, man. You know, but this should be a confidence builder. It's like, all right, if I could ball like this against them in their crib, I'm cool. You know, I belong in this league, and I should be able to just put it together consistently and deliver against other teams, man. So she showed up, man. Without her, I don't think they win.
Yeah, what I appreciated last night from her, and then Rave. Well, first off, Ray, did you have another candidate, or are you going with George as well?
Oh no, Georgia, absolutely. In a game like this, like Ariel said, we typically saying her play, whether good or bad, was the deciding factor. And yeah, if she doesn't perform the way she performed, then they probably lose this game, man. So yeah, the fact that she was able to produce, gotta give it to her.
Yeah, I think this is one of I agree with Cardell too. It was probably one of her best games where this was one of the first times where it kind of looked like the Georgia we saw in college, where it wasn't like a concerted effort of like, hey, I'm facilitating. I guess I'll shoot. This was I'm open, I'm letting it fly. And she may go to state pay for it time and time again. And like you said, outside of the turnover zone, she did do a good job controlling things. Running the team and controlling things. So I hope this is kind of the start of something for her where she turns the corner, so we can see her kind of find her feet in this league heading into the second half. But as you mentioned, Cardell, Washington hosts the Aces on Wednesday before heading into All-Star break. So lastly, before we move on, I wanted to get everyone's thoughts on the first half of the season. For the first half of the Mystic season, Octavia, we'll start with you. Just your thoughts on the first half of the Mystic season, then Cardell and then Ray.
I'm pleasantly, I don't even know if I want to say pleasantly surprised, because I think, of course, with the talent that they have, that we always knew that it could shake this way. I think I'm just more so pleasantly surprised and happy with, the youth that they have. They're the youngest team in the league, and they seem to be really gelling well. I know Kiki and Sonia have been out of this world, of course, being back-to-back All-Stars in their second years. I love the way that Shakira has come off. You could tell, like I've seen some of the clips and some of the stuff of her playing overseas, and you could see that transition back through this as well. I love that she's getting her ball handling up. I love that she's taking opportunities to better her game, stretching the floor a little bit more, being able to shoot outside her and Kiki. I love to see Georgia continue to get better, like you guys have notably said. Of course, this is her second year, but this is really her first year. So I think the biggest thing for me and the takeaway was definitely giving them grace, going into this year, but still being pleasantly surprised. I feel like they play hard most of the time. There's not really any game that you can pinpoint outside of maybe a handful where the game really got away from them. I feel like most of the games that they lose, they're very close. And the more that they're able to develop as players and develop as professionals, they'll know how to close out those games. There were some heartbreak games that they had earlier this year that I feel like as time goes on, they'll know how to close those out, and they'll know how to win those games when they need to be won. But definitely, I think the one thing I'm, of course, looking forward to the most is them cutting down on turnovers. It pains me every time I see it. I know there's a difference between a live ball turnover and a dead ball turnover, but the turnover itself is just it's just getting a little out of control. And I don't want them to get to the point where they're content with playing with 16 turnovers, because I feel like even the games that sometimes they win, they still have a whole lot of turnovers. But, at the end of the day, like, well, we still won. I hope that that's something that they're keeping at the forefront of their mind, even though I'm pretty sure that it is. And I think probably the other two things the players that I really like I love watching Cody play. I'm hoping that she gets more and more as time goes on. I just love her game. And I'm pleasantly surprised by Flores. I was a little confused during the season. She came and she started playing when she came back from overseas. And then it was kind of like they pulled off her a little bit. We saw a little bit more of Lucy Olson. Nothing against Lucy as well, but I really like the way Flores plays. So I'm interested to see, what happens. Of course, we're going to have the trade deadline and all of that hoopla and see what happens. I really hope that they do stay steadfast within the youth movement. But, every now and then people start to get a little bit antsy and start to look around and start to see what they can do. But I really hope they lean into this young core because they're playing really, really well for where they are. I mean, they're 8th in the league right now. I think they're 4th in the East. They just gotta keep putting it together and keep putting one foot in front of the other. And I'm just excited to see how they finish the season.
Cardell, your thoughts on the first half of the Mystics season?
Yes, the word I would use is encouraging. Especially coming off they're not making the playoffs. That's why they had so many first round picks. You didn't quite know trading sites and all that. You didn't quite know kind of what to expect. You knew Sonya and Kiki, Shakira, they proven. January, coming off an injury type season. You didn't know how she would fit. But you could tell now they're starting to figure out a formula that works for them. And it resides in their front court. We knew that from the jump. But they got to leave with their front court and not just traditional, just put them on the block and post them up. Utilize their versatility. They play the high-low game, do a lot of different things, man. They improved dramatically. Like they started off the season like lockdown defense, and then they had a spell where it got kind of up and down. But lately, since they've been putting together winning games, and they managed to get 13 to 12, get above 500, which was a goal because they will always get within a couple games, then lose a couple games. It was like that through much of the first half. But then they figured out a way to kind of be more consistent, and now they're above 500. Their defense is a big key to that. I don't think people understand. They're second in the WNBA currently in points allowed, 82.5, and third in defensive rating, 104.3. They clamp down, as a team. And that's with, disrespect to the point guard kind of being the one position. I'm sure every team come in and be like, yo, we can pick on that position. So that shows that Flores and Georgia are finding ways to try to get stopped because they was picking on them bad to the point there was a lot of mismatches and cross matches and that's where teams would kill them because now you got Shakira on the point guard. I'm not saying she athletically she can't stay with her, but you don't want that to be a consistent dose, you know what I mean? Because that wears her out. Same thing with Kiki or whatnot. And now you don't really see that as much. They're in sync. They're staying with who their matchup is for the most part. Only thing is, like Octavia said, those live ball turnovers, it's hard to get back. It's hard to get back when you just keep giving them so many opportunities, man. So when they don't turn the ball over and you get them in the half court, it's tough, especially for them offensively. They have so many options they can go to offensively, especially if Sonya got it going. And that's the thing with Georgia. If she can just be a reliable three-point shooter or somebody that can get down, get to the free throw, you don't even need her to be a leading scorer. Just set the table without turning the ball over. And when somebody get doubled or when they digging down, they leave her, make them pay, it's problems. Because the open shots are there. And as of late, she's starting to get more and more of a rhythm. You're starting to see the 3 or 5s, the 3 or 6 more and more compared to her majority of the season, 0-6 or 1-7. So, she's hitting enough shots where, eventually that scouting report will have to be updated. And they're going to have to realize we can't leave her. You know what I mean? Which creates space for Kiki and Shakira and Sonya to get in there and, Lauren, Cody, one with my fast break, she getting down here and doing her thing. Cassandra as well. So, I like it. It's encouraging, man. But don't get lax because they're still a young team, and we all know what happens in the second half with the playoffs near. Playoff teams and the veteran teams, they gonna flip the switch, and then it's so I gotta wait and see how they handle that. You know what I mean? Because that they ain't seen that yet. You know what I'm saying? But if they can withstand that, I'm like, okay, they've grown up. So we'll see them in the playoffs. It's as simple as that. But they gotta handle that. That's a whole different season that's about to come out the All-Star break.
Lastly, Ray, your thoughts on the Mystics' first half of the season?
Yeah, man, there's stuff to be optimistic about. But the Jekyll and Hyde of it all kind of gives me a heart attack. Like they just need to be a little bit more consistent, especially with the turnovers, because that one thing alone dictates most times whether they win or lose. And it's just the pendulum swings are just so drastic that you just want to bring them in a little bit closer to some type of normalcy. Like, of course, you're going to have your outlier games where things just not going your way, but it's either really bad or really good, and that's just not a sustainable way to operate, especially if you're trying to build on things and try to get some momentum and consistency. Like they've never been more than 2 games away from 500 on either side throughout the course of the season. So yeah, I just want to see them be able to kind of stack some wins on top of each other at a certain point. And like Ardell said, once they get back from this break, it's going to get real. So yeah, if they clean up those turnovers, is we can really see what type of team they have. Because if they can get into the half court on either side, if they can get in the half court defensively, it's hard to score on them. If they can get in the half court offensively, they can execute. I am glad that they kind of are planting their flag on the defensive end, because that keeps them in a lot of games. And I like the fact that they fight. We've seen them climb out of some holes throughout this first half of the season. But again, it goes back to those turnovers. That's the biggest thing for me. They clean that up just a little bit, and we can kind of see them not in scramble mode so often. Then yeah, I think they can maximize their potential. But yeah, man. I mean, 13-12, youngest team in the league. We knew that there would be some learning curves and some struggles, and for the most part, I think they've dealt with it well.
All right, Mrs. Outlook, folks. We'll check in with you guys tomorrow for pregame and Outlook as always. So be on the lookout for that. Going to switch gears over to the men's side of things. Summer League is now concluded. The Wizards Summer League felt even more brief because of, folks didn't play the entire game of the games. However, we're going to just talk about this a little bit since it is over. The Wizards were in action. We got our first chance to see the number 1 overall pick in this year's draft. Obviously, AJ Boston. He hit the court with a few other year 2 members of the Wizards. So just looking back, I want to get you guys' impression of the Summer League. Just a reminder to folks, those Wizards Outlook on those Summer League games are still up on the channel, up on the sites. Go over and check those out. But Cardell, start with you. Just your thoughts on, the brief Summer League window that we got to see some of those folks play. Obviously, AJ, Will, Trey, Jameer, etc.
Yeah, they went 3-2, which you saw was very high optimistic energy from not just from the young guys that's playing for the first time, AJ and those guys, the second year guys, the Treys, the Will Rileys, Jameer Watkins. That's what you kind of saw with from the opening jump. Like it's a different energy. It's like let's go get W's. Because let's face it, man, last year was rough. I mean, the last 2 years was rough, but last year was very, very rough. We all kind of been in consensus, man. AJ the real deal. It ain't no fans or buts about it, man. He dominated. I don't think people understand. Trey, AJ, and Will. Will and AJ averaged 25, and Trey averaged 26. So they hit the ground running. Trey killed so much. One game is all we needed to see. I'm gonna sit down. And you go work out with the vets. AJ and Will played a couple more games. All right, cool. But again, I'm calling them the from this young core, from this team, the key guys, the go-to guys from Summer League. Okay, we knew what they was gonna do. We knew what to expect. It was just a matter of they was gonna deliver. the thing about AJ that I love is he was alert on defense, man. Like he was highly impactful on that end, man. And it shows, man. Like we could talk about the offensive numbers, man. Averaging 25. You know what I'm saying? 85% from the free throw line. Gotta get his 3-point ball up. He only shot 9%. You gotta watch that, you know, because when you play against the big boys, most definitely they're gonna back off like he is with us until further notice. But you know, he got to do that better. But you know, 7 rebounds, couple assists, only 2 turnovers, but he averaged 2.5 steals and 1.5 blocks a game. That's what made me even more proud, because like that's what I asked him on draft night. I'm like, hey man, like I know what you can do offensively. I'm not worried about that. The Wizards, they need stops. They need guys that's gonna defend. Like they got plenty of guys that can score the ball, man. We saw some epic, historic, horrific defensive performances last year, man. So what are you gonna do to help clean that up? And he was like, yeah, he on it. Like he said he ain't running. He trying to get to the point where pretty much he all NBA on both ends of the floor. I like say less. So he know he got to go out there and do it. And he was a plus 19 in his two games. Will Riley was a plus 13, and Trey Johnson was a plus 5. So that's encouraging. You know what I'm saying? For the key guys that you know going to be in the rotation, starting, you know, playing heavy minutes for the Wizards this upcoming fall and winter. But for the other guys that's trying to crack a roster, if it's not with the Wizards, with somebody or play that's going to play on the go-go, I like what I saw out of Chris Livingston, man. I think he was pretty consistent once those guys got shut down. I think he was pretty consistent throughout some of the, you know, even in the last game where they beat the Hawks, he had 20 points, 5 rebounds, couple steals, 7 to 15 from the floor, 1 or 2 from deep, 4 from the line. So he understands how to just play within himself and make an impact in various ways of the game. And I think for what his situation is to try to, I know his goal is to play in the league. That's what he's going to have to do. He's going to play within himself and play a role and thrive in that role, maximize that role. So, you know, the way he played in the summer league shows he has that in him. Will he get an opportunity with the Wizards or with the Go-Go? So remains to be seen. There's a lot, you know, still to be sorted out. But if he is with them, you know, I wouldn't be surprised to kind of see him, you know, to do his damage like what Jameer did. Went to the Go-Go, put in work. Next thing you know, they get minutes slowly but surely, and then the minutes decrease and stuff. Even with the Trey and AD and all that, it may not be a lot of minutes, but he'll get his opportunity if he stays consistent with what he showed in summer league in his role. You know, some other guys that Felix Okpara, the 2nd round pick, you know, in the last game, 12 points, 8 rebounds, 6 of 13. You know what I mean? You know what he's there for. His defense first with him. You know what I mean? So I like what he showed offensively as well. But he's going to be more of the dirty work guy. So he has to build out his skill set to kind of be instead of just you know, rolling big or slip big out of the pick and roll, he can be able to step out and hit a jumper and keep the defense honest and whatnot. We know he's a lob threat. You know, he can run the floor. He can transition. You know, we know he can block shots and rebound, but just being able to spread the floor a little bit is the next step in his game. And, you know, some other guys, Seth Trumbull, I like what he brought. Kid out of North Carolina, super athletic, but it may be tough because the Wizards so guard heavy, man. It's going to probably be tough for him to stick unless he goes to the Go-Go and kind of looks for that role, but we don't know. Like I said, there's a lot of things to be sorted out. Another team offer him a chance to try to make the big boy team, you got to go take it. You know what I mean? But I just don't see that happening with the Wizards with as many guards that can play and do damage. Hell, Keith and this staff already going to have a hard enough time trying to sort the minutes out as is. So it's going to be tough. And I like, you know, Kadari Richmond showed signs with what he did as well. You know, throughout the game, he just got to be more consistent. Throughout summer league, he just got to be more consistent. Reese Balkman had a solid game, well, monster double game. You know, the last game in the win over the Hawks, 13 points, 14 assists, 6 rebounds, 5 of 10. I'm sure that opened some eyes, and he on, you know, 4 turnovers. But when you got 14 assists, the ratio is still great. So I'm sure he opened up some eyes again. If you're a guard, unless it's a go-go situation where the Wizards already set you up, saying you're a two-way or whatnot, it's going to be tough to make the big boy team. It just is, you know, right now. So But I'm pretty sure we'll see him on some roster if it's not the Wizards. So all in all, man, for me overall, I was pleased with what I saw with the Wizards Summer League. You just want these young guys to get reps, get used to playing on NBA soil for the first time, and then now in the summer through September, August, September, you start ramping things up and get ready and try to bring some winning back to the Wizards because it is sorely needed and wanted.
Ray, your thoughts on Summer League?
Yeah, man, I agree with Cardell. I'm pleased with what I saw overall. The main guys, like you pointed out, AJ, Will, and Trey. Of course, AJ being a rookie, you just wanted to come in and see him, just kind of get in there and work out, which he did. He looked like the first overall pick. And as far as Will and Trey, after playing heavy minutes last season, you kind of want to see them show that, yeah, I really don't need to be here the whole time, and they did that. So that's a good step for them. Not only just from a playing standpoint, just from a mentality standpoint. After especially guys like Will, he just kind of came in last year and hit the ground running. So you want to come and see him in summer league and just basically dominate, which he was able to do. And Cliff Livingston and Reese Beekman, they put in work as well. Beekman, I love what he brought defensively. He coming in, picking up full court summer league, hounding guys. I don't think any of the highly touted guards that they played had good games. They were all over all them guys. So that's definitely always going to be encouraging to see defense emphasized with this team, given what we've seen recently. So yeah, man, it was a good showing from the young guys. And they just came out and played and did their thing.
Okay, I don't know who Wilson went. Octavia.
Yeah, I was gonna say, did we lose our fearless leader? Because I'm pretty sure after this we were gonna go back to because like I said, I like to be very honest and transparent in these situations. I am not a huge summer league player watcher. I've been a little bit dive deep into the WNBA a little bit more on that side, so I always love hearing you guys' synopsis and what's going on, because I think the one big thing that comes out of this is the fact that the district is waiting for it. They want it. They want us. They want the team to kind of come back into that light, to have some more pizzazz or whatever you want to call. And I think that from what you guys have said and the players that they have, like, got the opportunity. They got some bigger names, and I know names aren't everything, of course, but they got some people that are in there, and everything that I've seen with AJ as well has been top tier. So I'm excited to see it. I'm hoping that they prove me wrong. I know it's hard for me to watch Wizards games. I'm not even going to lie. So I commend both of you for as much as you have to indulge in it. I commend both of you guys. You guys deserve a gold star, seriously. For as much as because it's not easy to watch. But it seems like hopefully they're on the right path. And my fingers are crossed, but it seems like they're doing well, and I'm excited.
Yeah, man. Before we move on, we know they still gotta show and prove, man.
Yeah.
If the lights is on, like, the East is no joke now. You know what I mean?
Especially with you guys' favorite player in the world taking forever to decide if he's going to come to the East or not.
I purposely don't want to get that energy. We're going to address in the rapid fire what his agent said, but I'm not outside of sports media duties. No, I can't. I'll talk about that when we get there. But with the Wizards, nah, man, definitely tune in because I like what I'm seeing out there. And like even the short stints with Trey, the way he can control the game last year, it's like, all right,
Mm-hmm.
and that's without AD. So yeah, the East is strong, but I think they're gonna catch a lot of teams by surprise because they ain't thinking, it's just the Wizards. You know, they ain't, and that's when they're gonna be in trouble. And I think by the time most of the league catches up to realize that they serious, they got a lot of talent. It's gonna be too late. They're gonna have momentum and confidence as long as they're healthy. That's the one thing I'm worried about, is just health and stuff like that. But we all know they got to show and prove when it's time, man. And I think that's what I kind of saw in the summer league. Like, they're hungry, because last year was embarrassing, man. You talking about a bunch of, like, everybody on the team has won before. You know what I'm saying? College or in the league or whatnot. So it was very embarrassing. So, but it's a lot of question marks. Like I said, injury history, how they can gel. Keith, I'm glad they gave him the opportunity to come back and actually have a team coach, man, because it'd have been foul for them to fire him. It's like, y'all know y'all was tanking. Y'all ain't even give him a roster to compete with. Now we get to judge to see if he could really coach. You know what I mean? And now they coaching to win. You know what I mean? So, hey, man, it's a spotlight on everybody, and that's what you want, man. So now you can feel the energy, man. But again, they got to do it. You know what I mean? The champions is out east. I'm pretty sure there's a couple teams that was in the playoffs that underachieved, like the Pistons, the Cavs, that's going to be pissed off. Man, Lord knows that Philly-Boston game, that first game, that's going to be super personal in many ways. Miami, what they did with Bama and the Wizards division, it's just, yeah, man, it's the East, no joke. So we're going to see. But they have the talent to rumble, man. So, yeah. You know, like Ray always saying, nah, we need W's next year. No excuses. Nope. I don't want to hear it. I don't care. Look, y'all got a deep young team. Y'all got a lot of talent, depth. And I don't care if certain players go down. Hey, next man up. We need W's. Because I was even joking when they got AJ, like, if a miracle, if some series happen, they win the championship. Everybody that covered the Wizards last season, we need to get rings like Spike and all that with the Knicks. That was brutal. It ain't gotta be real. It could be fake. We deserve it, man. Because sit through, man, it was tough, man. But you're gonna see. Back to you, Wilson, man. We can move on to rapid fire. What you want to do?
Oh yeah, take it or leave it. A rapid fire is your call.
Yeah, we gotta start there. Octavia, goddamn, you brought it up. We're gonna start with take it or leave it, man. Look, if it feels like the LeBron James free agency saga has dragged on and on, it's because it has. Free agency officially opened more than 3 weeks ago, June 30th, and you can be sure LeBron's agent, Rich Paul, had conversations with other teams before that. So when will his decision come? Paul would not give a timeline. Speaking on the latest edition of his Game Over podcast with Max Kellerman, released Monday night, quote, "We're not going to be rushed. We're not going to be rushed. It's his choice to make. And when he makes the choice, he'll make it. I don't know when his choice is going to be made, but it could be 48 seconds. It could be 48 minutes. I don't know. Again, you can't make somebody know something that they don't know." Paul also pushed back on the idea that LeBron was in no hurry because he enjoys the spotlight and having the NBA waiting on his decision. Again, he said people trying to predict when the announcement will come down have no inside info. This is a process LeBron is still going through. Quote, "I think it's important for people to understand we're not making this about attention and a spectacle. It's not about a decision or anything like that. He has a choice to make. He has a business choice to make. It's a business choice that he's making. And I think as an athlete, why is it that an athlete has to rush his choice?" When asked if there's a front runner for LeBron services next year, Paul said he had nothing he could say about that. Octavia, take it or leave it.
Leave everything about it. Just leave the whole thing. Like, it's so draining, bro. Like, I don't even care this much. Like, I feel like they want us to care so much. And like, even the quotes that you just read, like half of it was like an oxymoron, because like in one breath you said that he's not doing this for the decision, but then the other half is like, oh, you know, like he enjoys the spotlight. Like, duh, like we get that. But bro, pick a team and move on. Like, it's the last season for you, unless you try to stretch it to whatever. Pick a team and get out my face. Like, that's really how I feel. Like, pick a team and get out my face, because at this point I really don't care. Like, the fact that he has people sending voice notes is ridiculous. And even though I'm really hoping that it was a joke, but how this player is, I don't know how he is. Luke Cornett's voice note to LeBron James was spot on because it's like this has to be a joke. So I'm going to act like this is a joke when I'm doing this voice note. It's just ridiculous, but it's in line. It's on par with what we've always seen from LeBron. And I think for us that really are not drinking the Kool-Aid to a certain degree, because you have his loyal fans that will die for anything that he does. And I think all of us here are definitely objective enough to know that LeBron is a great player. His legacy is his legacy. He's done what he's done. But god damn, like Jordan would never. Like, just pick a team, bro. Like, you've been on 4. Like, this is not, it's not that hard. You've never taken this long before. I mean, outside of the big drawn up decision to go to Miami, pick a team and get out my face. Like, that's really how I said. So in shorts, I'm leaving it all. Like, I could care less. I hope his next announcement is that he's retiring. Screw the team.
Ray, I'm sure you got a lot to get off your chest, man. Go ahead, have at it, man.
Man. Look, of course I'm leaving it. I want him to leave. It's like this is just diva behavior at its worst, man. Like, and I don't think they're reading the room. Like, they think this is, oh, everybody's on pins and needles waiting for him to make a decision. No, they're just like, they're tired of it. Like, just make a decision so we can move on with our life. Like, this is not, nobody's in suspense. Like, this is not what you think it is, bro. Like, this is, you told your kids you was leaving at 3:00 and you sitting in the driver's seat of the car at 3:15 and you about to go upstairs and start cussing. That's what this is. Hurry up. That's all it is. But I mean, it's an embarrassing last gasp for air, man. Like, no, just make a decision so everybody can move on with their life. Of course, I'm not in these people's heads, but like Octavia said, based on prior behavior, I think they're relishing in the fact that it appears that, like Adam Silver coming out and saying we want him to make a decision so we can finish the schedule and so on and so forth. Like, to me, that seemed like he was just annoyed. you know what you're doing, man. Like, it's not heroic. It's not none of this other stuff. You're just being an asshole, pretty much. So yeah, man. Like, and he doesn't have to do all this. Like, somebody that's accomplished as much as he has, these type of theatrics are unnecessary. So pick your team, go out and live out your last days and do whatever. But I think stuff like this is what's gonna sour people on you even more after you retire. And we seen how vicious the media get when they wanna get it back in blood. So, if that's what you want to deal with, then be my guest. But yeah, man, it just make a decision, man. It's not that serious.
Wilson.
Yeah, I'm believing it's just completely unnecessary. Like, you got your options. A lot of teams already have, like, most of the league has their rosters in place in terms of like where you can slot in cap wise, right? So we talk about big money. You got like 2 choices. You got Miami or Philly or whatever, right? Outside of that, you got mid-level exceptions and you got vet minimum. So whatever you choose, like, that's cool. Hurry up and do it. The other thing I think, which is tough, is like, the part that's not being said out loud too much is like the thing that's happened everywhere you've gone for your entire career has been, it's everything's been heliocentric. It's always been around you. Dog, everybody got their stuff together, man. You don't have to get in where you fit in, and that's not exactly something where, we go back through this long stretch of your career. It's not exactly something you like shine at. So I don't know what you're gonna choose. I'm sure you already know where you want to go, so just go do it. But yeah, like to Ray's points, No one's on pins and needles, bro. It's year whatever. We don't care. Pick a team. It is what it is. Like, go where you're gonna go. Either you're gonna try to compete or you not. So it's try to compete, or it's the other thing y'all do best. Full blown narrative. One last gas, full blown narrative. So do whatever you're gonna do and keep it moving. But like the league's already moving on, man. Like you're on the back end, bro. Like it just it's not like this is not the Miami days when like it's a big switch of power in the league because of where you land. It's just being real. It's not that. So yeah, just pick a team, man. It's unnecessary.
Yeah, for me, just putting this out there before people call me a LeBron hater or whatever, man. Yes, I feel Michael Jordan's the greatest of all time. No, I'm not a hater on LeBron. Again, played against LeBron at 5-star. It would benefit me more to say he's the greatest, but I'm not built that way. Call it like I see it. Okay, so we got that disclaimer out the way. For LeBron, when I say I don't care, I don't care. I just, when they pop up on my phone, he's somewhere, cool. Then I start looking at the league overall, whatever team he's on, to see what they can do. They're a legit threat. Just do the due diligence of the line of work I do. That's all it is, man. It's been 3 weeks, dog. This don't take this long. And I don't want to hear people trying to defend it like he doesn't know. That's bull. He knows. And I'm gonna say why he knows. With all the information that's at, let's say, Rich fingertips to know the salary cap, the personnel moves of each team he's considering. Now, only they know which teams they're actually considering. They know what's going on. They know what the benefit is. They know how much money they can get. Even if he's trying to attract somebody else to try to come with him somewhere or whatever, fine. You know what the salary cap implications are with the tax apron and everything like that. You know what that situation is. Every team has salary cap people. Their sole job is to manage that. If the owner or GM hits them up and say, hey, we thinking about getting LeBron, he's interested, what would the books look like? It's their job to get that thing cooked up and send it to them so they can see what it is right then and there. Come on, man. The average fan may not know that, but come on, man. It's exhausting, man. It's exhausting. And I'm just not feeding into it because we're not doing this no more. Like, we've had to deal with it since we've been around the league, covering the league. It's too much. It gets old. It gets old. I don't think they understand. We tired of narratives. We tired of all that. Like, I'm all for players getting what they deserve because, yes, there have been history of some shitty owners. We know that have treated players like shit. We know that. Okay, cool. But that don't mean you gotta abuse that power as a player either. It's called being professional, man. And it's not some Crusaders like stick it to the owners, because what if the owner's solid? You see what I'm saying? And the front office solid. Don't you want to do them a solid? Because they're doing you a solid. Isn't that how it's supposed to be reciprocated or whatnot? So it's just it's just irritating, man. And I'm kind of even a little bit looking at Adam Silver upset when he said like he's holding up the league from making a schedule. Man, I wish I would. Well, matter of fact, I wish David Stern would. No, we're gonna make this damn schedule. Man, I don't care if you never play on national TV. You get in where you fit in or retire. It's as simple as that. Like, that would make it easy. Why are you holding up the league for him for a TV game? And I get it. It's a different dynamic with streaming. It's not like cable. You know, you can just switch stuff up. The streaming situation is a little bit different regardless. Come on, man. You know, man. And it's just getting old, man. So I don't believe, like a lot of things Rich say, I don't believe what he's saying. It's been 3 weeks. What did June 30th the free agency started? It's about to be a month. This literally could take one night. Just really sitting down with your reps, with Rich, your team, your wife. Obviously, me, Ray, wasn't we married? We understand it ain't just his decision. He got to sit down there with his wife and kind of see what she wants, because it's a family dynamic. You know what I'm saying? Like, regardless, if she like, I want to stay with it in LA, he's gonna be away. That's tough on a family. We get all that, but you ain't dealing with nothing no other free agent has to weigh outside of your fame and stature and spotlight, man. So for me, I just don't care. He make a decision, cool. We look at the league overall once he does, and then we just keep it moving. I don't understand why so many people are upset. He gets off on this. That Cam gets off on this. Don't feed into it. Like it reminds me like a bad kid that just keeps acting out. And as much and if you keep giving that kid attention, kid gonna keep acting out. The moment you ignore that kid, they just stop because they're not getting what they want. That's kind of what it feels like, and it's just old, man. But it's just old, man. And what people don't want to say, I think Wilson kind of hit on it, that we're gonna move on, is that a lot comes with him. Only thing is he's not good enough where it warrants dealing with all of that because he's older. It just is what it is. You know what I mean? He can't flip that switch because if he did, it would have happened in LA. They would have kept him. So that tells you all you need to know, man. So now how that dynamic gonna go? And let's be real. I'm gonna ask y'all this. How many of these top tier players, these teams that's been thrown out there consistently that he may be considering, how many of these top tier players on those teams want him there? Because think about it. If we win, oh, it ain't because of me all of a sudden. It's because he came. Everybody got an ego.
Hey, man, I think that's a great point of it. And the other thing is, like, some of the places people are talking about, like, not gonna lie, like, if you're Philly, so the ascension that Maxi's on, we gonna take the ball out of his hands. That's what we about to do. Yeah, not Milwaukee. I'm sorry, Miami just went to go get Giannis. What team Giannis play on where he don't have the ball? Was LeBron gonna go spot up and cosplay as KD now? Like, nah, dude. Like, what are we doing here? I pick a team and keep it moving, but like I think there's a side of it too where it's like that fit's not as organic as everybody would like it to think, because nobody wants to be honest about that part of his game that's never ever changed and to this point. Like it, and I'm not. The quick disclaimers Cardell said earlier. I'm not diminishing him as a player whatsoever, but the things that makes him great as you age is kind of a detriment too in terms of fitting in. The other guys in his peer group that are that old, they don't have to be on ball like that to be productive. He needs to have the ball. To maximize him, he needs to have the ball. So,
And then you missed the glaring part. Defensively, what are you gonna do? All right, we're gonna move on. The WNBA, Toronto Temple coach Sandy Brondello was suspended for 1 game by the WNBA for an inappropriate comment she used during the game against the Atlanta Dream on Friday. She missed Monday's game against the Las Vegas Aces. Quote, the WNBA expects all coaches and team personnel to uphold the highest standards of professionalism and respect that are fundamental to our league, the league said Saturday in a statement announcing the suspension. During the 111-92 loss to the Dream, the broadcast picked up the Timberwolves coach addressing officials after Toronto player Naira Sabali went down with an injury after contact with Angel Reese. Sabali was called for the foul. Brondello could be heard saying Reese was a protected species. Brondello posted an apology on social media on Saturday and followed it up with one in a presser on Monday. Ray, we're gonna start with your thoughts on the whole situation. Just two-part question. Well, what do you think about why when she said that and her apology overall?
You can't say that. point blank. And I get it with the cultural thing. That wasn't the first time I've heard that phrase. But read the room, man. You got to be careful. So yeah, like I get, and I get why why Angel will feel a certain way, like especially with the climate the WNBA is and this country is in right now. yeah, you cannot say that under any circumstances. But I in regards to her apology, I felt like it was sincere. Um, and people that have dealt with her, speaking on her behalf, to my knowledge, she's never had an incident like this before. So she can get the benefit of the doubt in that sense with the intent. But yeah, you can't say that. Uh, a suspension, I don't quite know how I feel about that. Um, if they were to find her, then yeah, I could see that. But a suspension right off the back is weird. But yeah, that's just a tough spot to be in for everybody. And even Angel's response I felt was gracious, but at the same time she got across how she felt, and rightfully so. If I was on the receiving end of that, I would have been like, I'd have felt the same way she did. So yeah, man. But it's and I don't want to bring other things into it, but we doing this over this situation when there's some other foolishness going on that they refuse to address. I think it was last season when somebody asked Kathy about the racism that players are facing in regards to like Caitlin Clark fans and all that, and she diminished it to it's good for the WNBA to have rivalries. That's not rivalry. That's but then over this situation you killing an ant with a sledgehammer. Like it to me it feels like a overcorrection to try to appease some people and take and try to combat some of the backlash they're getting for that other stuff, which it don't even compare in my eyes. But yeah, like initially it's Sandy, she made a mistake. I think she realized that and she owned up to it. Um and I'm pretty sure she'll never make that mistake again. But and I mean, I get it where she's from. That's something normal to say in basketball. And in the heat of the moment, you see one of your players get injured and you're frustrated with how the game is being called. Cool, I get all that, but at the same time, it's whether well, no matter what your intent was, it's consequences for the things that you say, and she paid one. So I mean, yeah, and it is what it is, and I just hope we can move on from this. But yeah, if we're gonna do that over this situation, yeah, let's keep that same energy across the board.
Wilson.
Yeah, I think Sandy knew she messed up. You can't say that. Okay, background aside, like it's 2026, man. Think before you speak. You can't say that. Like, however that came out, bro, you was gonna have some issues. You can't say that. I do appreciate that she didn't need the Gino Auriemma type of apologies where it was in 3 stages till you got an actual apology. Shout out to Gino, but Sandy actually got the apology right, like an adult the first time. But again, like you can't say that. I'm glad she held herself account. Like there wasn't like some big pushback from her. Like it wasn't that bad or anything. Like immediately it was like, that's on me. I can't do that. So I appreciate that response. But I'm right with Ray with the suspension. Like a fine is cool. I don't think she needed to be suspended. However, so all of a sudden respond like Judge Dredd for this from the league. Wow, like we're like a month removed from Alyssa Thomas getting death threats by that group of people, and y'all doing nothing. It's crazy. It's been crickets for like 3 years of this nonsense. And it's been escalating and escalating because nobody's.
Uh-oh. I lost Wilson. Go ahead, Octave. You can pick it up from there.
Yeah, I'm right along lines with both of you guys. Like we said, You just can't say that, especially in this climate and this time, how heightened everything is. And even when you don't think somebody's listening to you, that's the time that really gets you the most because it's a hot. First of all, you're in the league. It's hot mics everywhere. Every time you say anything, whatever's going to happen, you gotta think that somebody's going to hear it, even if it wasn't recorded. Somebody in the front row could have heard it, and the next thing you know, they're going to some outlet and they saying, "I heard Sandy Brondello say this," and it's the whole situation. So you just have to be cautious in the things that you say and how you say them. I agree with Wilson 100%. I think that I appreciate the fact that she took accountability immediately, and I always like when you put a name on it. Don't make this random apology to this and the people that it may have heard. And I was like, no, Angel, I said something in regards to you that was unbefitting. That's not that I shouldn't have said that. Like, I deeply respect you. I apologize for the hurt that this came. Like, saying an actual real apology to this young woman, especially being a I know that she's not a black woman, Sandy Brondello, but being a woman itself and knowing that she goes through similar situations as women, and then her also being a black woman that adds on to it for Angel. And of course, we've all seen the things that happened to Angel, you know, from the time that she's kind of blown up at LSU. We know the situations that go on that have gone on between her and Caitlin Clark in the past, and the vitriol and the things that she gets in the league. So to add insult to that by a comment that you made, I appreciated the fact that she took accountability, put a name on it, sent it out, and not made it this whole charade or anything like that. I do agree with you guys as far as the suspension, and I definitely agree with you, Ray. You said it seems like an overcorrection. It seems like ever since that story came out that they weren't going to punish Alyssa, and that they were like pushed to punish Alyssa. Now people are looking like, well, you weren't going to punish her, and it's like now they're like, well, we should punish everybody. So I think Kathy Engelbert is just in a whirlwind of she don't really know how to handle the situation. But I think, like you guys stated, it's not like we didn't see this coming. It's not like Alyssa Thomas wasn't getting death threats for that situation. It's not like I believe it was Chelsea Gray who put out in the public that she got a death comment or a racist comment in her social media. And I think the only thing I heard that happened to that person is they lost their job. Um, so it's not like it's not happening every day. So I hope that they are taking these things more seriously, to kind of nip it in the bud. But I do agree in this situation, like Ray said, I don't think that she's had any inclinations that I've seen. Of course, who am I? But no inclinations that I've seen that this is a repeated issue with her. She definitely misspoke. But I appreciate the fact that she took the accountability immediately, and even how it is perceived, because I think that's what we forget as a human race, that free speech is free but consequences aren't, and it's not always about how you say it's how it's received. So you have to be able to take accountability for how you made somebody feel and how your intentions did not land the way that you thought they would. So I'm glad it's over with. You know, she had the suspension, even though we don't necessarily agree with it. And I'm hopeful that they're all able to move on and move forward, and just keep the momentum of the league going.
Go ahead, finish, Wilson.
Yeah, now I was just saying, just where it was. I'm happy that it was an adult-like response to the apology, and it wasn't any BS, holding the apology back. But yeah, yeah, man, you just can't say that. And I'm with Ray. Angel's response, the grace with her response, but she also got her point across. But yeah, the league, you got bigger issues here than Sandy Brondello's comment that you should have been addressed. But yeah, man, I was fine with a fine versus a suspension. I want to know what you're going to do about that other stuff that, like, they're just out here acting like doesn't exist.
My take on it. You know what? Before I want to ask you, because you obviously a sister and you play ball. How would you feel if that had been said about you? Like,
oh yeah, I definitely would have had smoke for her, especially. And and this is just me assuming, so I don't know 100% because I know it changed for Angel as she went into her college career and stuff like that. Like growing up in this area, I know she's from Baltimore, going to some like you're not really always around white girls like that. Like, I mean, they're here, but majority of the time you playing against them at an away tournament somewhere deep in Virginia, and then you coming back home. Like, but in this area, in her high school ball, it's not a lot of white teams around, so she didn't really have to deal with a lot of that. And even and let's be real, even when she was at Maryland, she probably didn't have to deal with that as well either. Because even though Maryland is a PWI, there's a lot of black people that go there, and it's in a good, area. And I can't speak to LSU, but I mean, it's LSU. So to kind of now be like thrust into this whole thing, especially since I think it really started rearing its ugly head for Angel specifically when LSU played against Iowa and all of this and all of that stuff happened. That's when they started coming for her. So she already has a lot on her. Because I think even watching some of the coverage of people talking about it afterwards, it was like you could tell even when she's talking about it, it's heavy on her. Like she's like, why do I have to keep doing this? And especially for somebody who never had to watch how they were, and I say watch how they were, but like have to worry about that because I'm always around my girls. I don't have to worry about that. You go out of town, you play, it is what it is, and then you going back up the road. So I completely understand, and I give her a lot of credit for the way that she handled it, because had she not handled it the way that she handled it, then that would have also been another story. That would have been another thing that they would have had to say to her, because the one thing that black women always have to worry about is being that angry black woman, regardless of what was done to you and who did all this other stuff. It's always, are you that angry black woman? Are you going to roll your eyes and snap your neck and do all of this stuff? Because I ain't going to lie, I probably would have. Not even going to hold you. But I'm not Angel Reese, and I don't have brands looking at me, and I don't have a signature shoe and all this other stuff. So it's very heavy on her. So I appreciate the fact that she was able to graciously say, hey, that's not okay. And I think she got a little bit of her sassiness out, because I believe that somebody had tweeted something and was like, oh, this white woman just called another black woman a protected species. And I think she retweeted and said, are you surprised? Like I feel like that was probably like her one, like, let me get this out, which I think we're all entitled to. But I think after that, she's handled, and not saying that was not handled properly. Like that was just an emotional reaction, and one that's warranted in a situation like this, especially with everything that goes on and going on in the league currently. But yeah, I definitely, if it happened to me, probably playing like AAU and stuff, I probably would have. It probably wouldn't have went too great. I don't know if any of y'all have ever been to my games. My dad was my coach, so it could have got a little sticky out there. But yeah, I don't blame her. I would definitely be upset about that too. Even using the phrase of this is just something that we use in Australia. I'm like, well, baby girl, you're not in Australia. When the last time you've been here? Because I feel like Sandy Brondello been over here for a while. Like you've been here. How often are you still using these Australian colloquialisms, ma'am? I'm gonna need you to get a new vocabulary.
Yeah, I'm gonna be short and sweet. Look, it is obviously it's unacceptable. It's not just because of the term species that just scream like for black people, like dog, like it just takes you back, like dog, we in the 1700s, 1800s. Like, are you serious? I'm about to smack fire out your like that's the trick. Those type of words are triggers for all, not even for us. I don't care what line of work you in. Oh man, come on, man, you just effed up species. What? Like it, I'm gonna have to use the power of my ancestors and knock you the fuck. I gotta go there, man. I gotta go there for them. Like they looking at it, I feel like the spirit's gonna come up looking at me like you just wanna let them get away. Like and I'm joking, but it's serious. Like even in a basketball game, I've never even heard that come out ever. I don't think I've ever heard that word come out. Like, that's wild. And I get it from all sure, but again, you can't say that here, man. And then it's toned up because I know you focus on the Liberty. I mean, not the Liberty, the Temple and all. I know you focus. But you got to see the climate, what's going on with the fan base that's following Caitlin Clark. Like, it's nasty out here. It's nasty. Like, it's not her fault. I don't blame Caitlin. It's not all of her fans, but it's a majority of them that are racist pricks, right? And what's bothering me is a lot of brothers and fans are backing it up and justifying that. But we ain't even gonna get into that. That's a whole nother conversation right now. So it's thick. And the ladies in the league, the sisters in the league, gotta deal with that. So for you to kind of do this is piling on that situation. And it's like, damn, though. And they just like, we just want to hoop and make a living, man. Can we just hoop and make a living without dealing with all this, man? All this unnecessary. All we doing is just playing basketball. That's all we doing. And people trying to justify. I think it was I can't remember. It was a player, a black player came out and justified it. Was like, look, that's just a term that's used overseas. It's not that big of a, like, justified. I'm like, Lord, you look. Clearly, you're not from here, but again, that don't fly around here. You will get hurt saying in the wrong environment. You will get hurt. If you don't believe me, it was a movie, but it was real as hell. Remember Rush Hour? Jackie Chan in that bar? All right, then. I'm going to leave it at that. He kept saying the N-word. They was like, oh, what? And he ain't know no better. Chris Tucker said it. He just, it must be a word of endearment. Hey, they like, and they jumped on him. Now, luckily, he could fight, or he might not have made it up out of there. So you got to be careful with what you're saying. But even in the heat of competition, for that, you could have said anything else, man. You're like, why is she getting all the calls? That's soft. She could have said that. And that's just in the heat of battle stuff. But you come with that came up? Nah. I respect the apology. You owned it. I get it from you, just not in this climate. You can't be that tone deaf. You gotta understand what's going on. You gotta understand what's going on, man. You can't, because it's empowering. And that's why I feel like the suspension was justified, because to not do something with fan the flames to make them other racist pricks that's just making things worse, even more empowered to really go in on people. You know what I'm saying? Like the sisters in the WNBA, like they're getting death threats just for hooping. If they hit Caitlin wrong, they got to deal with heat.
Even if you don't hit her wrong, if she don't get hit, if she just make it look like she get hit, that's okay.
And they just like when she ran into John Quayle and the ref got on her, and they calling, and them people online talking about the ref need to be fired and the refs are terrible. And they also are saying y'all should deal with this because it's viewership. She's making the league more popular, so they should just deal with racism because it's viewership.
Yeah.
Lord, like, yeah, man. Again, Sandy, you apologize. If Angel, like whatever, she moving on, cool. Don't do it again, though. Because then issue. And then you gotta take that full heat, man. But again, let this be a lesson for all the coaches, whoever in the W. Don't do that. And then this climate right now just ain't the time. Because it's even hard to enjoy the game. You can't even get on social media without seeing some racist stuff, man. Like it's sickening. It's sickening.
Man. I saw the craziest comment. They said Caitlin should just leave the league and go play overseas and wait till the WNBA just falls apart and then come back. And I was like, what?
Please leave, please.
I literally was like, wait, what? Y'all want her to go play overseas? Would they really be banging these people out?
Man, look here.
Sure.
Look.
Good luck.
Pay them racist folks to help her move. they can help her move, man. I promise you the W will be just fine. Like it's been whatever the last 30 years or whatever you call it, man. Like, yeah. Like the sisters ain't built this league up to what it is. But hey, you know, let me be quiet, man. We ain't gonna do that, man.
Hey man, we appreciate y'all for tuning in this week, man. It is time to go. Don't forget to get over to thefocustv.com. Mrs. Folks, we'll see y'all tomorrow. And y'all have a good week. We'll see you next week, same time, same place.